I never believed in supernatural things. Ghosts, spirits, soulmates from another world. That was never my thing. Until I met her. It was last winter, in a small hill town where I'd gone to escape my fast, noisy city life. The town was quiet, covered in snow, and barely had mobile signals. Just the way I wanted it. I rented an old wooden cottage on the edge of the forest. Every night at exactly 12 a.m., I heard the same sound outside my window. Footsteps in the snow. Slow, soft, rhythmic. At first, I thought it was an animal. Then one night I saw her. A girl. Standing under the tall pine tree, wearing a flowing white dress, hair blowing gently in the wind, even though the night was completely still. Her face. God, her face. It was the most beautiful yet sorrowful thing I'd ever seen, like she was smiling, but her eyes held centuries of pain. I don't know why, but I opened the door and walked out. "Are you lost?" I asked, but she didn't reply. She just looked at me and said, "Don't come closer. If you touch me, you'll never be able to leave." I thought she was joking, or crazy, but she turned around and vanished into thin air. Literally, vanished. That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart felt strange, like something had been activated inside me after years of silence. I was supposed to stay here for 1 week, but I extended my stay. I had to see her again. I needed to know who or what she was. The next night, I waited near the window, staring at the same tree. And just like before, right at midnight, she appeared again. Same white dress, same windless night, same silent pain in her eyes. This time, I didn't move. I just whispered through the glass, "Who are you?" She tilted her head, curious, almost like she didn't expect me to speak. "You shouldn't try to know me," she replied. "People who do, they don't forget, and they don't survive." That voice. It was soft, echoing, like it came from a cave made of stars. But I wasn't scared. I was drawn to her. Night after night, I came back to that same window. And she came too. Sometimes we talked for a few minutes. Sometimes she just stood silently and looked at me. I told her about my life. How I'd failed in love. How I felt empty inside. How the city had killed something in me. And she just listened. No one had ever listened to me like that. One night I asked her name. She hesitated, then whispered, "Leora." That was the first time she smiled. And that smile, it felt like someone lit a candle inside my chest. That night I couldn't stop thinking about her. Not just her beauty, but the ache in her eyes. What was she hiding? And why did I feel like I'd known her forever? I tried to find out more about her. I asked the villagers if they knew someone named Leora. An old shopkeeper froze when I mentioned the name. He said, "That's not possible. Leora died over 70 years ago, in the woods, on her wedding night." My heart sank. I didn't believe him. I ran back to the cottage and waited for midnight. She came, like always. This time I didn't whisper. I stepped out into the snow. "Leora," I said, "are you real?" Her face trembled. "I don't belong in your world," she said, "but your heart called to me." She held up her hand. "If you touch me now, you will forget everything else. Your old life, your pain, your world." My breath caught. I looked into her eyes, and I stepped forward. I took her hand. The cold of her fingers shot through my veins like ice. But in that moment, I saw everything. Her life, her death, how she was murdered on the way to her wedding, and how she had waited every night for decades under the same tree, for someone who would love her. And finally, I came. "You found me," she whispered. "Now, stay." And the world around me began to disappear. My phone stopped working. My reflection faded. My name began to blur in my mind, but my heart, for the first time, felt whole. I never left that cottage again. And every midnight, Leora and I dance under the stars, two lost souls, in love, frozen in time. Something started to change. After weeks of being with Leora, dancing under the stars, whispering stories under the midnight sky, her presence began to flicker, like a candle in a storm. Her voice became distant, her smile slower, her eyes sadder than ever. "What's happening?" I asked one night, holding her frozen hand. She didn't answer right away, then whispered, "You're forgetting me, piece by piece, just like they all did." My chest tightened. "Who are they?" She stepped back slowly. "There were others, before you, men who loved me, men I loved." My stomach dropped. "But none of them stayed," she continued. "They all said the same words you did. And then They forgot and left me alone. Again and again. Her voice cracked. I thought you were different. My head spun. What if I was just another name in her endless loop? But I didn't want to leave. I held her tighter. I won't forget you. You already are, she said with tears in her eyes. And once you forget my name, I'll disappear forever. I set alarms. I wrote her name on paper. I recorded our conversations, anything to remember her. But still, pieces of her slipped away. One day I woke up and couldn't remember how she smiled. Then her laughs. Then her name. I stared at the page where I'd written it down. Leora. But the ink had faded. I ran to the pine tree. Midnight, snow falling. She wasn't there. For the first time in weeks, the world was silent. And that silence broke something in me. I fell to my knees in the snow, screaming, I remember you! Please come back! Nothing. But then, a soft wind. A familiar fragrance. A whisper. Thank you for loving me, even if just for a little while. And suddenly, I saw her. Not in front of me, but inside me. A memory etched into my soul. I knew then. Leora was never meant to stay. She was a moment, a lost soul, reaching for warmth in an endless winter. And I was lucky enough to hold her hand once. Now every midnight I don't wait by the window. I close my eyes, and I remember her, just enough to keep her from fading.